We have our guy who's going to join us now for this post-game report. He is a fantastic sports reporter. He joins us every game after these Knicks watch parties. It is Brian Lewis, sports reporter for the New York Post. Brian, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. We're better than Knicks feel right now, that's for sure. Oh, the Knicks fans. Knicks fans are not happy right now, Brian. They are upset. And the first thing they're going to want to know is, or I'm intrigued from you, what did you think about when Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson are out the game? They're trying to come back in. It's about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. And there's one timeout left for the Knicks. Should Tibbs have used the timeout? Should the team have fouled to get those guys back in? What did you think about what went on there over the final almost 2 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I was moderately surprised. Oh, sure. I understand where you're trying to get them. You're trying to have your cake and eat it too. And you're trying not to use the timeout. You say, okay, I'm going to get an opportunity. Once you get to a certain point, he made his bed and he decided to lie in it. Yeah, I guess. In hindsight, yes, clearly that was a mistake in judgment. He gambled on that and he lost.
Yeah, he did. Do you look at that as a failure on Tibbs? Because the Fire Tibbs crew, and we have JD here, who's been critical of Tibbs. But is this an indictment and the reason they lost the game? I would say no. There's a lot of other issues you can look at in this game, but would you say this is the reason they lost the game?
No, I mean, listen, Tibbs didn't go out and shoot 59% from the free throw line now. I mean,
fair.
That's unacceptable. I don't blame that on him. Now, if they want to move on and they want to move in a different direction, that's up to them. I wouldn't necessarily point to one game for a decision that big. I mean, that's a major overhaul. That's a major decision. I'm not here to say whether they should be or should not be doing that.
Right.
I'm here to say they shouldn't be doing that based on 2 minutes or 1 minute or one ill-advised decision not to call a timeout. And I think the last time I was on with you guys, we discussed players having to take ownership while they're on the floor. Again, it's the charity stripe. It's supposed to be free. 59%?
Not going to get it done.
I mean, Brian, to that point.
That ain't it. 59% in a playoff game that's not going to get it done.
To that point, the Pistons get 10 more points off of free throws because they're 26 of 36. They were 72%, which isn't awesome, but it was a lot better than the Knicks were. But I think the more damning thing, if you will, is that the Knicks, they shot 36% from three. They didn't shoot a ton of them. The Pistons won a game where they shot 27% from three, and now they're going back home after shooting 38% from three the first 3 games of the series, 24 and 27% since. Like, what do you make of the trends and what that could indicate for Game 6?
Well, one, yes. I was going to say it's amazing that you hold a team to 8 for 29 from deep and you can't win. And that was going to be the segue into the free throw shooting. I do think and I think we also talked about this in Game 1. The Pistons, in my feeling, was that the Pistons were going to get more confident as this went on.
You said that. Yeah.
I thought it could be really short or go 7. I still stand on 7 at this point.
Oh, nobody would. No, see, Knicks fans are not trying to hear that, no, Brian. They're not trying to hear. Nobody's trying to hear anything.
He's doing his job
7 right now. I'm not saying Brian shouldn't do his job. Brian's going to do his job and do it well. I'm just telling
that's more
you
for the people.
The people don't want to see it. It's not for you, Brian. Of course, you have a job you're going to do. But all right, I guess I'll ask you this, because now it's going back to Detroit for Game 6. This is not what the Knicks fan base wanted. I'm pretty damn sure it's not what the Knicks wanted.
Well, when you have an opportunity to close them out, which is what they should have done, now it all of a sudden goes from, I don't want to say impossible to see an avenue for them to lose. 5% is not 0, but it's pretty tiny. To now looking at it is, it's closer to 20%. you know, and I'm saying teams that are up 3-1, I think it was
Right.
95%. Teams
Yeah,
up 3-2, now you're at like 83%.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like, listen, it's not good, and it's definitely a disappointing loss for this team. Is there anything, if you're the Knicks, that you can take out of this game as a positive? I think for me, one would be the play of Mitchell Robinson. I thought was pretty
Yes.
good. You have been calling for him to get more minutes in this series. I was talking with our guy JD here about that being adjustment that we saw at the end of the third quarter when Cat got in foul trouble and Tibbs went to Mitchell Robinson and then stayed with him when Cat picked up his fifth foul. Does this solidify more of the case for Mitchell Robinson getting more minutes, particularly in Game 6?
I mean, I think it does. It would to me. I can't sit here and predict what Tibbs is going to do, but to me, he stated his case, stated it loudly, and stated it well. I think you need more of what he's giving you. And if that means them on the floor together, so be it. But I think he needs to get minutes. And when he was given minutes, he performed with them.
Do you worry about his free throw shooting? Because you mentioned the free throw shooting earlier.
Yes.
He was 3 for. I think they need more of the Cat Mitch minutes, and I think Mitch generally helps them and is more of a positive than a negative. But he did shoot 3 for 7 on free throws, and Detroit seems to be aware, like, hey, we can target him, foul him, send him to the line, and live with that. Is that something that's worrisome for them the rest of the series?
I would be lying if I said it's not. It is worse. I mean, he wasn't the only one out there missing free throws. I mean, Deuce missed a couple. Brunson, who was asked to do a ton, obviously, missed 3.
Missed 3.
Mikhail missed 1. So it wasn't like it wasn't like this was a good performance from the Knicks from the stripe where it's just skewed, by Hackimich and him missing 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be lying if I said it's not a concern. And clearly in the playoffs, if there's a scab, people are going to pick at it. And that's a scab, yes.
Okay. Do you have concerns about Jalen Brunson's ankle, being that we saw it again, like there was some difficulty with it? He obviously had to stay out for a stretch that ended up determining the game. But, now only 1 day of rest until Game 6. Is that a concern, you think?
It is. Maybe I'm paranoid. It's always a concern for me at this point. When you've seen this repeatedly, it's always going to be a concern. Now I'm encouraged by him being able to come in. I think obviously his importance is greater than Hart's, but just physically, I'm more concerned just the way Hart walked off. Just seeing him limping off, clearly not right. That's more concerning to me when I just wonder, well, who's going to be available? Who will be compromised when they're out there? But obviously Brunson's importance and history means you have to be worried about that.
Yeah. And Brunson keeps coming back. That's the other thing. Hard.
Right. It's amazing. He just he gets hurt, he regenerates, he finds his way back out there. It's amazing.
Yeah.
JD, you got anything for Bryan?
How do you see this the rest of the series going? In terms of, now they go into Detroit, and I talked about how, Detroit has to feel well about where they are because now the Knicks have to beat them at their own home court. And do you think the Knicks now feel a lot of pressure going into Game 6?
Well, it's hard for me to sit here and tell you what's in their minds. Some guys could be feeling that pressure and some guys less so. They have a pretty experienced group. It's not like they have a bunch of kids. I always thought this was less about the Knicks being rattled by Detroit's home court advantage, which, frankly, they're just rebuilding after, years of picking away at what used to be one of the great home court advantages. And more about the Pistons gaining confidence as this goes on. I think the Pistons will be supremely confident going in. I don't think they will be taking the Knicks as lightly as they did, if you'll recall, when they went back to Detroit and then came out flat, as if they somehow thought the Knicks were going to roll over or disintegrate or whatever. So I would be more concerned just about those young kids over there now all of a sudden feeling themselves and being confident than I am worried about the Knicks and their mental stability or inability to handle that home court.
Yeah, it almost seems like the Knicks should know what they have to do on Thursday. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. They're going to have to clean up some of the mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But I will have to ask you this, because it's been the word of the night. The word of the night has been adjustments. So what adjustments, if any, should Tom Thibodeau make here? Because listen, Brian, and this is a debate JD, our guy, and I were having.
As we see the Celtics up 79-60.
That's the
throughout
thing.
this.
I'm sorry, the Celtics are what?
They're up 17 after they were trailing at halftime and were trailing earlier
in a closeout game in Boston.
Yeah.
So now the Celtics are going to likely get their rest.
Yeah.
That the Knicks are not going to get. They're going to have the extra rest that the Knicks didn't need. I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But we'll
19-point lead.
But are there any adjustments in your eyes that the coach has to make for this game 6 for the Knicks to win? Or is it just simply the players got to come out and execute things? I don't know, Brian, like hitting free throws?
I think some extra free throw work can't hurt. I mean, I get it. These are pros and millionaires, and maybe they think they're beyond that. I get it. This isn't Hoosiers, but some extra free throw work, maybe. And not to beat a dead horse, but yeah, I mean, I did like the minutes for Mitch. I wouldn't mind again, seeing more of that and the two of them together. I'd like to see them. I know this is going to sound crazy. I would like to make sure that these guys have it in their heads. And if this should be something that shouldn't have to be said, but maybe it does have to be said by Tibbs. I would want to make sure that their minds are right and focused on themselves and the Pistons and not any referees. I can't with these guys complaining with it. After you win a game, the way you won a game, and we were sitting there discussing that call ad nauseum, and I said, that there is a foul. I understand that people are human and they make mistakes, but I said, that's a foul. And you won a game based on a foul, and now you're chirping at refs in this game.
They're doing it a lot, to your point.
Not a good.
They're doing it a lot, to your point. Like a lot.
Yes.
They're chirping at refs.
Yes. Just chirping, yelling, screaming, tears coming down. I can't, man. I can't.
Now,
just make sure that their minds are right and focused and keep the main thing the main thing. That shouldn't have to be said, but maybe Tibbs does have to say that.
Maybe. Don't look at me like that.
That would be good coaching, would it not?
No, well, I mean, that's what we're discussing, right? We're saying, what do I want to see him do? It shouldn't be necessary, but sometimes things that aren't necessary
we all need a reminder of the simpler things every now and again.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So, Brian, you just heard JD and Fonseca mention this. Boston up 17 or whatever they are.
21 now.
21 now.
After the third quarter.
Does that make this loss worse? Because the Knicks had a chance to not play with their food, wrap things up, have the same rest possibly as Boston, but now they will not, very likely, unless Orlando has a major. No, Orlando's not coming back. They struggle offensively. They struggle offensively. I don't even know why I'm doing this.
They're not coming back. They're not coming back. I mean, I think Boston has gotten past that. They've grown past that stage of a couple of years ago where they would always be.
They used to play
unserious.
With their food. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they would always be unserious and do stupid stuff and give away a game against somebody that they shouldn't. I think they've grown past that.
So does this, the fact that Boston's winning tonight, does this make this worse for the Knicks? Or do you look at this as something that could be a lesson for them, moving forward and how to not play with your food? Because this team clearly has not learned that yet. is what I'm saying.
It is not. I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. I just feel at this point, with the lack of use, by and large, of the bench and the health of some of the major factors in your starting lineup, I want to play as few games in as few minutes and get as much rest as possible.
I feel you.
Yep.
And I don't want to mess up and play with any of those things. And tonight they messed up and now they're dealing with that. So no, I get you. And it can be a lesson, and hopefully it is one that they learn. But if it is a lesson, boy, it's going to be costly.
Well, I'll tell you what will be costly. If this thing's coming back to Madison Square Garden,
oh my goodness,
that's not gonna be fun. We love seeing you, Brian, but we don't need to see you after a stressful situation. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure I'm wrong. If I think 7, then the Knicks will probably win by 40.
What the fans?
And they won't come back here.
The fans here in the chat are tripping.
Yeah, we should close with that. We should get to
we're gonna get to some of the fans in the chat.
Yeah,
but Brian, thank you, man. We appreciate you coming on with us after every game, and we'll talk to you after Game 6. I thought we were going to be off on Thursday, but we will be working. All of us will be working, so we will be back here on Thursday. We'll see you then.
Yes. See you then.